Welcome back to another heartfelt episode with Talks with Tawanda, where truth meets transformation. Today's conversation is personal and powerful. I'm diving into a question that I've been asked, and which is, how do you tell your story when your truth may cause discomfort, especially within your own family? I thought it was a great question. Thank you to Alicia for asking that question. And I'm just going to be honest with you real quick. So, Alicia is a very good friend of mine, and she listened to one of my podcasts from earlier, and she sent me a text message, and she said, "Hey, I got a question for you." And I said, "Well, if you want me to answer the question is from the podcast, go ahead and jump on. Let me see this link and jump on the mic with me, and you ask your question and let me answer it." And then, so when we jumped on, she first, I asked her, okay, what was it? And what she wanted to know was what I stated. Your truth. How do you tell your story when your truth may cause discomfort, especially within your own family? This episode isn't about blame. It's about boldness, bravery, and breakthrough. It's about learning how to honor your healing, even when others don't understand your journey. So grab your journal, open your heart, and let's have a real talk about releasing shame, reclaiming your voice, and walking in purpose unapologetically.
I have a question for you, Coach T. Well, first of all, I want to say congratulations on your podcast. It is very, very insightful. But as I listen to your story, I find it very phenomenal, number one. But I have a question that came up. I think
Okay.
it's very empowering, number one, to be able to tell your story in the open and to tell it without any shame. And I also think that is powerful as well. And so my question for you is, how does one go about telling their story where they are talking about incidents that may have happened with certain relatives and, potentially having that risk of those relatives or even other people in the family being mad because that person is actually speaking out? So what are your suggestions on record navigating um, navigating around that potential?
Okay, I want to say first that's a great question. It's a great question because, again, myself, I had those thoughts, those wonders when I first started writing the book, From Existing to Living in God's Grace. Like, that was one of my big things because I knew that I had to have conversations that included other people, and I had to tell my truth. So, first, what I had to do is accept that my healing was more important to myself than anyone's comfort. So when you really think about it, it's the comfort of the next person, of not allowing these things to be heard, or their shame and their fear or what they having to deal with. But that's theirs. It has nothing to do with you. I don't tell my story to point fingers. I tell my story to free myself. I tell my stories to help others see that they're not alone. And for a long time, I stayed silent out of fear or rejection, fear of judgment, and then, yes, fear of hurting the very people that I still love. So I don't tell, when I talk about my mother, I don't tell it because I'm angry with her or I don't love her and things of that nature. I talk about it because I have to, it was part of my healing. And I have to tell it so that I'm not holding on to it, allowing to fester in my spirit, and even hoping that she gets the opportunity to listen to it at some point in her life, and allow it to penetrate her heart. And so it's not out of hurting people, it's out of love. I love her, but I had to realize that shame, it thrives on silence. And as long as I stay quiet, I was allowing the pain to be I was allowing the pain to define me, if that makes sense. So it's like, sometimes it's like, it's you here, and this is your story. This is your life, and these things happen to you, and you're also dealing with the shame of it, the grief of it, the trauma of it, and things of that nature. And that's what's most concerning. The next person have the opportunity to heal too. And in order for them to heal, they're going to have to be accountable. They're going to have to accept your truth. They're going to have to accept your feelings. And they're going to have to allow themselves to be okay with it by owning their own story. You're not responsible for that. That's their responsibility. But you are responsible for healing yourself.